Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BTB Movie Club podcast. My name is Aaron Lashbrook. We hope you enjoy today's movie discussion. Thank you for listening.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BTB Movie Club. My name is Tim Larson. I'm here with Ryan Malo, Dan Sears, Brian Larson, Mike Hilty, Aaron Lashbrook. We believe Mike Wilden might catch up with us. And then Toby. And we're here to talk about movie number 244. It is Empire Records from 1995. This is an extension of our contest. Somebody picked this movie, but none of us know who it is. But instead of keeping points and waiting until we're done with all of the movies, there's a fly ball to deep left field. That's a home run.
Tim.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Instead of waiting until we get through all the movies and collecting points, we're just going to reveal at the end of this episode who picked Empire Records. So I don't think this gentleman knows that he's leading this conversation, and I thought about texting him 5 minutes ago, but I thought this will be fun to do it this way. Ryan Malo, you are the gentleman who gets to lead the conversation today. We're going in order because we don't know who picked the movies. So Malo, you look like you're well prepared for this with lots of notes and plenty of whiskey to get you through it. So take it away, sir.
Half of that is true. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. 1995 Empire Records ready to go and fully lead this with great questions and interesting nuggets and things that I've looked up and all of that.
It's nice when you layer it. It's nice when it's layered conversation.
Yeah, well, you're all in luck. Okay, so I'm you know what? I don't know what's better or worse for the Detroit guys to knock this out or to wait. Well, we'll try Brian first and see since he's actually pretending to look at the camera. Unlike Dan, and see how this goes. So, Brian, what do you got for us?
First off, I don't have the game on. So I'll be happy to go. Empire Records. I really used to enjoy this movie a lot. It was one of those, whenever it was on, I always watched it and haven't sat down and watched it all the way from beginning to end in a long time. And I did that and it did not age well for me. I don't know why. It wasn't the same. So maybe it's, pardon me?
I know why.
Okay.
It's not good. Sorry, continue.
A lot of young actors early in their career, except for Rex Manning. But yeah, it was a tough watch, man. I was excited when it got announced last week, and when I picked it, I didn't think it was be this way, but I wasn't really ready to go first. I found out that Liv Tyler's love interest in most of her movies are AJ's now. Mm-hmm. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all the text before the group started. That was fun. Anthony LaPaglia. It's one of those movies that are about a bunch of not rejects necessarily, but somewhat rejects, somewhat hot chicks, somewhat just people who gather together because they have some similarities and everybody's got their weaknesses and their strong points, and they don't talk about the weaknesses too often until all hell breaks loose when one kid steals money and goes to Atlantic City and loses it. Won the first bet though. Yeah. Snake Eyes is coming on the next one. But I kind of disappointed that I watched it again. and it hurt my heart a little bit. So
Ooh.
uh, that's it for now. Do you
All
have
right.
follow-up questions, Melo? Did you prepare follow-up questions for everybody?
I of course, of course. Um,
Sorry.
who? So I do have a question, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Let me ask it, and we'll see what happens. Who did you identify most with when you first watched it, and who do you identify most with now?
Oh, I think then and now AJ, just the um, guy pining for the girl, kind of, you know, not not that I'm artistic, but somewhat the lead, but the caring guy behind the scenes who tries to talk to everybody and befriend everybody. No artistic skills or electronics or electrician skills, but I would probably say AJ.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it.
Can I do a follow-up question? With the
Yeah.
electronic skills, didn't you once try to plug in a dryer right after you'd taken a shower and shock the bejesus out of yourself?
It wasn't like I was dripping wet from the shower naked. No, I didn't turn off the power to a 220, and I touched the live wire. Pretty sure passed out for a while.
I'm sorry. I thought that was relevant to the conversation. Electrician came up, and it just
Yeah.
220 is a good one.
Oh, my teeth were warm. Yeah, the fillings in my teeth got
All right, Dan, Mr. Sears, let's get your undivided attention for at least 30 seconds here.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I liked this
There's
movie
one
back
out.
in the day, and it's still okay. It definitely lost a little bit over the years. But I mean, any movie's got war in it, can't be all bad. Um, they yeah, and I definitely get the feeling that the American Pie Finch character was stolen, that they stole this Lucas character from this film, because I think American Pie was made after this, right? I believe so. They seem like almost like the same characters. Um, but yeah, love the soundtrack. Thought the soundtrack was great. Still,
Yes.
still very good. They this movie, not to steal any of Hilty's thunder here, but this movie they tested it in the San Fernando Valley area, and it was very successful. And then they went and tested it in the Hispanic area, and it bombed. So they basically didn't have a premiere for it. They just like dumped it in some theaters and just kind of hoped for the best. And it didn't do too well at the box office, but became a cult classic after this. Um, one funny thing I read Roy Cochran, who plays Lucas, he was in Dazed and Confused, a year or two before this, and he didn't want to do another teen movie. So he threw out a big salary number, said, yeah, give me this much money, figuring they would just say no. But they said yes. So he got paid pretty well, I guess, to do this movie. Um, it was they cut a lot out of this movie. It was supposed to be rated R when they first filmed it, but they cut it down because the theater, or the Warner Brothers, I believe, who did it, they wanted to be PG-13, so they cut a lot of stuff down.
Including characters, right?
Yeah, yeah. There were several characters that I think there were some characters that didn't even make it. They just cut them out
Right.
completely. Yep.
I wonder, real quick, with the gun stuff from Warren, I wonder if that would still qualify as PG-13 now.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it definitely would, but it's still very much.
Yeah, with nobody getting hurt and they were blanks, they make a point of saying that, it was blanks. But yeah, good question.
It even kind of sounded like a pop gun or something like that when he was shooting it. Didn't really sound like a real gun. And so I read that Robin Tunney, she when she shaved her head, the next movie she did for this was The Craft, and she had to wear a wig because she had no hair.
Mhm.
Um, but my favorite line, Rex was the '80s pop guy who was at the end or maybe after the end of his career. It seems like only older women were in line to get his autograph. Older women and a couple of gay guys. But when he leaves, he quotes the Who when he leaves.
Yeah.
So it kind of shows his age. He says, "Why don't you all just fade away?" So it's like, dude, you're showing your age there, and probably a lot of the people didn't get that line. All of the younger people that were working there.
Well, it
But
sounded awkward too, didn't it? Like when he says it, he's like, "Why don't you guys all fade away?" Like it's the worst insult ever.
right,
Like maybe you get the Who reference, maybe you don't, but it doesn't land. It just sounds stupid and awkward, which fits, the
but yeah,
personality.
yeah, exactly. Yep, it fits his personality and his character. Um, but it's still okay. I didn't mind watching it again, but definitely lost a bit of its luster that I had for it in previously.
All right, appreciate it. I'll ask the same question that I asked Brian just to see if we get anything different. If it's all the same, if it's all AJ, then maybe this is for not. But anybody that you identified with originally, or maybe now, that yeah, just in watching it again.
Hmm. Let's see here. I no, yeah, I would say no. I don't identify with with anybody. I I
What made me think of this was I listened to the Nobody's Fool episode not too long ago, and Tim kind of did this, and I was like, oh, that this is an ensemble cast, and so maybe
Mhm.
there's a little bit of that, or I thought of, I thought not this group necessarily, but I watched it with my daughter, and we talked about different people that we knew, like some of her friends, or some of that, and so yeah, I was just curious.
Okay, here's the thing. All right, so and Tim, feel free to say no, but you guys, you and Dan are Meyer friends, right?
Yes.
That's the group. So you've worked with him.
Yep.
So being a coworker, looking at the personalities in the record store, would where do you see Dan
I think Dan
or
got it right.
pass?
I think Dan got it right. He's not like any single one of those people. Dan was just kind of there to do his business and not be involved in any drama whatsoever. And there isn't really one of those kind of characters there. Would you agree with that, Dan?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, like it's one thing my daughter said. She's like, "Oh, the '90s were so dramatic," and it's like this movie is very much everybody in it is they don't have anybody that's just middle of the road kind of doing their thing. So, all right, appreciate it, uh, Mr. Lashbrook. You are up, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Melo. I'm kind of in the same boat with Brian. I've seen this movie a couple times. Um, I don't know if I mean, Tim, we weren't off Outer Drive in '95, were we yet? So I don't know if
Ooh, I don't know.
Brian, maybe you and I don't know if we went to the theater to see this or if we ever saw it together, but I remember like this movie being around for a long time, and I want to say I've watched it all the way through several times and remember really liking it. Um, and this time, it was kind of like looking at the ratings. It was like 15, 20 years ago, I would be the audience giving it an 83, and now I'm a critic giving it a 36. And it's like I totally agree. It's like, the old people don't see it where the young people maybe saw something or wanted something to be there. Um, but no, I really remember. And this time, even you guys already said the music. I didn't know it was like Warner Brothers. I wonder if this was like all Warner Brothers musicians, if that's a thing that they try to do. I'm sure they try to what do they call that, synergy and between the records and the movies. Um, but yeah, this in the category of, and Brian, don't come through the screen, but um, like Angus, killer soundtrack, singles, just that era. I was 21, 22 at the time. It's like the perfect, I don't want to say coming of age, but like it's an important time in your life, and like this was my music, some of my, like, I listen to everything, but like I really like this stuff. I think I had the soundtrack. I might still have it. Um, I never realized how much of a mess the first half to three quarters is
Yeah.
of editing. And just why are we, like, what's going on with this person? What's going on with this person? Why did we cut back to this person? Dan saying that maybe whole characters are missing and lots got edited out makes sense. Because I never realized how much of a mess the opening was. I do like Lucas, looking at the camera. I think that was kind of a novel thing at the start. I thought he was a cool guy. And that's kind of where I landed. At the end, I really liked it again, because the song, the music, the people, like everything's upbeat, and it's like Jason Segel um in the movie he's in. I think I've talked about it before, where he talks about at the end of the movie they play the happy music to make trick you into thinking you had a good time, and it's like, huh, they just did that to me because like Renee Zellweger singing the song on the top of the, marquee or whatever. It's like, yeah, totally into it. um I can only imagine, it was like back then it was guys that I thought would be cool to hang out with, hot chicks and good music, and I loved the movie because of those things, not necessarily dialogue or editing or the screenplay or, lighting, whatever, cinematography. Um, this group has ruined a few things for me, so but it's made many more things better. So I don't want to change that. Um, I just found out, looking at the characters and stuff, I thought the song they sing at the end was by a band called Coyote Shivers, and that's the guy's
Nope, that's the
name.
guy.
That's
Yep.
I
the
I,
character
I
name.
noticed
Yeah.
it in the credits, and then I looked it up. I was like, oh, I thought he was like the lead singer for, you know, a band called, but whatever. That's cool, I guess. Um, but yeah, I mean, the girls were all super hot and broken. Um, the guys, most of them seem pretty cool. Even the point, like, even Warren saw it, and I don't think we ever learn his real name. Um, do we?
Nope.
Anybody? We just call him
No.
Warren Beatty or Warren the whole time. Um, just the whole fact that, he just wanted to find a group of weirdos to hang out with. And um, yeah, the whole getting arrested for shoplifting, being back what seemed like a few minutes later,
Yeah.
even if it was a couple hours, with a gun, and then, you know, getting arrested again, and then being back at the end. It's like this, police department is very lax in what they're doing. Uh, but I mean, probably a 36 is a little low. Um, I was definitely probably low 90s, high 80s back in the day, but I'd be hard to give it. It's still got hot chicks, cool dudes, and good music. I'd probably give it a D minus. I can't agree with the 38, but it's much lower. Like I said, I didn't realize how much of a mess a big chunk of the start was as far as trying to tell a story. I guess it gave us glimpse into the characters, but like that's when Dan said that there was other characters that were cut out. I was like, there were more characters. There was like already too many. Um, I don't know if they could have gave a couple of attributes, you know, combined a couple of characters, but
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how they would have done that.
yeah, I know, but it's just like I did think it was a lot of people that work at a record store. I mean, even back
Yeah,
in the 90s,
right, right.
records and CDs, and they still had tapes on the wall. They weren't selling that good. You know, you didn't
And
need
Tower Records was the
15
shit, man.
employees.
Tuesday night on a Tower Records for
Release
uh
night.
yeah. At midnight. That was great.
Yeah, but they were open what 9 to midnight every day. That's insane. But
But well, and they were whatever the hell they were trying to not become. They were the man, right?
right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Tower. Yeah, and I was talking about Empire Records, this little mom and pop
oh
place that
yeah.
wasn't Harmony House or Tower Records.
Harmony House. I haven't heard
Yeah.
Harmony House in a long time.
What was the other
Um,
Ooh.
Parents
you
bring
know,
up a lot of stuff. Screwballs, Harmony House.
yeah.
one?
But yeah, so I can't say I know you threw out earlier when Brian was like, "Oh, I can't put my finger on it." And you're like, "It wasn't good," or something like that. I don't want to. I can't bring myself to say it's not good. I mean, it's not great. And I'll probably watch it again because of cool dudes, hot chicks, and good music.
Yeah, it in my opinion, it not being good doesn't mean it doesn't still hold some nostalgia or
Yeah.
or that to it. But I think both can be true. Any character that you identify with either then or now that be a
Definitely
little
back in the
different?
day, probably Warren because I was a petty thief, and now Gina
Okay.
because I'm a huge slut.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, Tim, you're rounding out the Detroit boys. So go ahead.
Okay. I had to do it. I just did a quick Google search and found Sam Goody, Music Land, Camelot Music, and Tower Music
Yes.
is
Sam Goody. That's what I was thinking of.
the Google AI rundown of the music stores back in the day. I spent so much time in there. Man. Okay. So Empire Records. Here's my take on this. I read a little bit, and the woman who wrote it, I don't know if she also directed it. Um, do we have two different? Okay, so
No, no, the person who wrote it and directed it were two different people.
okay, so I read somewhere where she was trying to go for something like Car Wash because Car Wash, that's in 1976, is one day at the car wash in a day in the life of people working there. Um, and that's an interesting take because I just started thinking of some other movies around the same time that that are one day at work. Um, Clerks comes out in 1994. That's the year before. Um, there's this movie in 1995, and also Friday comes out in 1995. Now that's not a day at work; that's just a day in the neighborhood. But there's clearly kind of a mid 90s appetite to make this slice of life. This is as big as this movie's going to get, and we're going to stay in this little box here, and we're going to make it about personalities. And you know what? I don't hate it. Um, yes, it's a mess. I watched the first half of this movie like, wow, this is not good. So I mean, I've seen it before, but I didn't see it a bunch of times before. I'm going to say maybe once. And the only thing I remembered about it was Liv Tyler's in it, and she's got the hots for this guy who turns out to be basically a douchebag. So I didn't even remember like Renee Zellweger's in it, and that's a pretty big name to forget. So I'm coming in pretty fresh on this, and I'm watching the beginning of it, and I'm watching Mark just run around and smile at things like an idiot, and I was like, what was ever likable about this? But I get to the end of it where it all comes together, and I'm not upset with it. Like there's a good feel at the end of it. The music helps because it's outstanding. There's some parts where some of the characters go through some emotional stuff to have breakthroughs, and I like the AJ and what's Liv Tyler's character's name? Corey. AJ and Corey on the roof. I like the interactions there. I like AJ caring about Beth when she comes in and he sees that her arm is cut. But Beth's character is pretty interesting to me the whole time, actually. And somehow, even though I find Renee Zellweger's character a little annoying throughout the movie, I'm rooting pretty hard for her when she's on top of the building singing. And so by the end of this mess, I find the characters people I want to root for. And so that's a win for me. So I'm here in 30s, and I would say, yeah, I think it's better than that. Um, I don't think I can go past a C minus because it is pretty sloppy, but um, the characters win me over. What happens to these characters and how they get through it to the end finally wins me over. I'll anticipate your question, Melo, and I will go Lucas. I would identify the most with Lucas
Okay.
because he's insane and stupid, and will do whatever he thinks is what he should do at the moment, which is probably insane and stupid.
I, what's fun about him, it's a Rory Cochrane, right?
Yeah.
So what I like about the consistency in his character is that we know nothing in the beginning, and he's doing this thing, but he is so I don't know, justified in his thinking of doing what is right by, or that he's right by doing what he's doing. And then later, I don't know, somebody that is that way, but is also so held to the rules that Joe set of staying on the couch. And that's a really fun scene where then his
Yeah.
foot is there, and then it's like, well, it's still okay
He
if I
takes a
take the
cushion.
cushion with
Yeah.
me. Even so much that later when they're dancing in the store, he's dancing with some lady and she's holding the cushion. Like that's still a thing that's happening. Like that's pretty fun. And then his stuff with Warren later too. But
Well, and he was
like,
honest. I mean, he never ran. He never lied about it. He was
Right.
looking for a
right.
way out. He wanted to figure things out. He's like, yeah, I'd rather not go to jail. Let's, do something. But, he never like he took it.
Right.
Yeah.
He had a conversation with Joe. Instead, he took this information and figured, well, this is the way to fix it. And it's the right thing to do. And not that he was wrong in wanting to do a good thing, but obviously, the methods were a little bit
Yeah. Misguided.
wanting. Yeah.
Misguided. I like that.
Especially after you won the first time.
Yeah. I like that Joe's like, what makes you think blah, blah, blah? And he goes, well, thoughts, I don't know where they come from. Nobody knows where the thoughts come from. Basically, like, it's just a weird question for you to ask, Joe.
Mike Hilty, what do you got for us, sir?
I think I'm a little higher up on this movie than everybody else. However, this does not change the fact that if nobody else wants to say it, I will. All these kids' problems are bullshit. And that's why it's very hard to root for some of these people. And I think at the end of the day, the reason why this movie kind of falls off a little bit is because some of these kids are just whiny fucking babies. And it's like, what are we doing here? Like, just who cares about some of these problems? Now, some
Beth
of these
didn't
problems,
have a mom.
I was just gonna say for the school team, like this is all we deal with is
Yeah.
dumbass
Yeah, it's
problems,
true.
like
Yeah.
self-inflicted wounds.
right. When I was a high school youth group leader at my church, most of the time, the biggest problems that the kids had were my mom took my phone away from me, or I like someone, but I can't tell them. Like, okay. And there's something about I want to apply to art school, but I'm not exactly sure if I should. Be like, dude, shut up. Like, honestly, shut the fuck up. So I think for me, that is the biggest takeaway that I have from this. Watching this in my late teens, early 20s, I really related to a lot of these people. And Mela, to preempt your question, AJ was the one that I related to the most. Now the person I relate to the most is either Joe or Mitch. Probably a little closer to Mitch. Be like, this group of fucking idiots. Like, what am I doing here? Like, what is happening right now?
Dan would like to change his answer at this
Yeah.
point.
So maybe for me, this is just the point in my life where I'm like, you know what? Maybe Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino had some good ideas. You know, like get off my lawn. Guy yells at cloud a little bit. I think I'm starting to get to that point. And is that a little cynical to say? Yes, but also my tolerance for bullshit, especially among younger generations, and this is pretty hard for me because I have kids and I know I'm gonna have to be dealing more with this in the future, is pretty low, unfortunately. And so that was kind of the biggest takeaway and the biggest difference for me is that relating to these characters becomes infinitely harder, especially when some of them are very insufferable as well. Um, I think one of the things that I also kind of rationalized a little bit is that what aspects of the movie work the best for me. And the thing is that I think one of the reasons why the beginning is such a mess is because the beginning throws out a lot at you, and a lot of that stuff does not matter at the end of the day. So, does this work as a romantic comedy in a sense? I would say no, because look, Liv Tyler is, very, very pretty. Apparently on set, everybody was just enamored with her. And there's a reason why she's up front and center on the poster, on the VHS tape, all of that. So I totally get that. Um, and for AJ to get her at the end, um, good for him for sticking with that, even though when he says I love you and she's like, dude, I can't hear this right now because just tried to sleep with Rex Manning. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's kind of rough, buddy. So um I like personally, I would be more interested in learning about what happens between Joe and Rex Manning's ex-manager. That's the story that I want more of there. And um,
Was
does
she wearing contacts? Because that red hair and I mean her eyes looked almost white. I mean,
it's possible.
He did look a little strange.
I thought it was pretty hot, but
I've seen her in other stuff, and she has very her eyes. I think
like
that's
really blue or light green
real.
or
Yeah, I think it's like a greenish blue. Yeah.
I can't get past Friends. You stupid bastard. Like I can't get past those scenes with her. She's always going to be that person to me.
So does this work does this work for me as a romantic comedy? Not really. Does this work as a coming of age movie? And the answer is kind of,
Mm.
because there are some aspects of the coming of age storyline with this that I enjoyed. Like I enjoyed Deb as a character quite a bit. And I enjoyed the friendship that all of these people formed together. Apparently, when they were filming, the director made them all live like close by each other for a couple months just so that they could develop real friendships. It was grating for a lot of the performers, but I think it really showed on screen that these characters all do feel like friends. Um, Certain storylines, like I do not care. It felt very after school special at times. And but some of the characters, it really did work for me. So I think it kind of works as a coming of age story. I think where this film really shines, and if it would have, and this I guess depends on focus or what storyline kind of works the best for you. The workplace, like it almost feels sitcom-y. How this is day in a life in this record store, and some of the plights that it's going through. I really do think that this could have been a pretty fun TV show for a little while, and I think it would have served, or it would have been served better as a TV show instead. I'm actually very surprised that as Hollywood is trying to find other IP, that this has not come up as something that could possibly be rebooted as a TV show. And then I thought, well, record stores aren't a thing, so no, that wouldn't work
But they could
anymore.
kind of do it as like a period
Retro.
piece.
Like
Yeah.
a That 70s Show kind of thing.
Like
No,
It-
did anybody ever watch that 80s show?
yes,
I did not on
and that
Netflix.
90s show as well.
Well,
And-
but that 80s show was a failed pilot, basically, but it was a record store, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Well, yeah, but did it have, and I didn't watch it, did it have anything to do with the record store that was part of that 70s show storyline? Because Hyde's dad owned group of record stores.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
don't know that
towards
it
the
had
end.
any direct tie-in. I don't remember. It was,
Yeah,
I mean,
I love that 70s
15,
show.
20 years ago.
So, so then I like, because that to me was the most interesting part about this is just the day in the life in this record store, particularly on this day, Rex Manning Day, which I guess is a big deal for a lot of people who love this movie. It's April 8th, just like for all of us fans of Mean Girls who celebrate October 3rd as a big deal because it's Mean Girls Day. Even Disney Plus was like, hey, you want to watch Mean Girls? It's October 3rd. Cool. But I think also one of my big problems with this is that Rex Manning is such an unbelievable douchebag in this, and it didn't have to be that way either, because there were a bunch of scenes that they filmed that got cut from this. Like Rex was giving some solid advice to Coyote Shivers or whatever about making it in the music industry. And it was supposed to be like a good heart to heart moment because they're both artists. And apparently he was supposed to come back at the end and help out with the concert. But nope, they just ended up cutting all of those. But then again, also, sleeping with Gina is a pretty shitty thing to do for that guy. But you know, it is what it is. I'm not exactly sure if I would have wanted a redemption story from a guy like Rex Manning, but you know, if he's supposed to represent, just like the predators of the music industry, and it's like very 90s in that respect. Mission accomplished on that. Good job. Apparently, that is really the actor singing in that one song, which God, that song just makes me cringe so much. It's just it's it's bad, but whatever. I can't also deny that it's kind of a bop too. And then the other aspect that I kind of find the most fascinating about this is the whole thing with Lucas and the money as well. Awfully risky for somebody to do because I remember the first time that I had to deposit money for a family video I used to work at. And I was like, this feels like a tremendous responsibility to give to someone like me who is in their 20s and doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. So I don't understand why, but then I look at something like this and it's like, that is an awful lot of responsibility to give to somebody who perceived is kind of a fuck up as well, but he's at least trying. And I love how like philosophical he gets after he loses this money. And you know and Joe, who has to be like one of the most patient managers on the face of the planet to just put up with all of this stuff from all of these kids. um I'd rank Joe pretty high as a character that I think is pretty likable. He's trying his best with these kids. And I think that having him kind of be a little bit more of a focus piece, I think would have made me like the movie more. But I also don't think that when this movie came out, especially with your central premise being damn the man, I don't think that would have worked in the 90s.
Right.
So
Right.
that is just That's just me growing up and just thinking, no, I can't I can't get on board with some of these things. But all of this to say, I still enjoy it because I kind of subscribe to Aaron's point, hot chicks, cool dudes, great music. That's something at the end of the day that this movie will always have. It's kind of unbelievable that most of these actors or performers didn't have like incredibly big careers. Like Renee Zellweger has won 2 Oscars, and that's really her singing as well during the Sugar High scene. So it didn't make it onto the final album, but that was her singing during the film. So that's cool. And then she got cast in Chicago, so there's that too. But I don't know, like I this movie is just I think at first this was like when I first watched it, it's a movie that I enjoyed because I could relate to it, and now this falls into like the guiltiest of guilty pleasures and something that I'd be kind of a little ashamed to admit that I like in front of, non friends. But since I'm in front of friends, I can freely admit that I do enjoy this, but I'm not sure how high I would rank this, and nor would I say that this is a movie that I'm probably never going to watch again either.
Okay.
I think I'm done. Sorry.
I don't know that you are, but
I'm going to put
going
myself
off
on
there.
mute so that I.
Jerry Maguire, Me, Myself, and Irene, isn't Renee in both of those?
She's in Jerry Maguire. I think she is in Me, Myself, and Irene.
I believe that's her. Yeah.
Chicago.
I think there was a lot of good careers. Warren, did anybody recognize Warren from a movie we watched recently?
No, I didn't recognize Warren.
I looked him up trying to find because I know him from stuff.
3 Billboards. He's the creep that shows up in her shop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When I
Ethan
saw him
Embry,
in that, I
watched
remembered
a
him
ton of
from that.
stuff.
Yeah,
with
Ethan Embry, Sweet Home Alabama,
Actually,
That Thing You Do.
I think he well, and then I watched Dragnet with him and Ed O'Neill on TV for like a season or two. Anyway, I believe he's credited as something besides Ethan Embry in this. There was something he had,
Well,
I don't know name wise, but
Oh, that's right.
Rex-
He was.
the Rex Manning guy, he was in Grease too. He was the
Oh,
cool
yeah, he
rider
was.
in Grease too.
oh,
He's the cool rider.
He's the cool rider.
all right.
Fine. I recant my statement that everybody here didn't have a successful career. My bad.
Mark.
I
Mark was in a movie that I really like where he goes and does something with Kurt Vonnegut. He's a writer.
That's Can't Hardly
Shit,
Wait.
what movie is that? Yeah, there you
Can't
go.
Hardly
Can't
Wait.
Hardly Wait. That's
Oh,
the
forgot about
same
the Kurt
group of
Vonnegut.
movies, but he
Yeah.
plays a huge part in that. And he's, clean cut and not fucking on drugs or whatever he is in
Yeah.
this one.
Strange, just to be strange. All right, Matt Smith. Sorry, sir, it's taking a while, but let's hear from you.
You're fine. This is a very 90s movie.
Yes.
You got the very, very, very loosely put together plot that sort of keeps everything together. No explanation for why anybody would put up with any of the plot points, right? Like this kid steals $9,000, takes it to Atlantic City, loses it, and everybody's just like, "Oh, well, that sucks. Cool. All right, let's go to work." Like, what? Nobody would do that. Like, and I know Joe's supposed to be the nice guy, brought him in, whatever, but yeah, you got all the archetypes, right? You got the nerdy girl who's actually taking the drugs to stay on top of her studies. You got the emo girl who, you know, hurt herself and is whatever. You got the sensitive art guy who loves the girl but doesn't know how to tell her and then ruins it when he does, whatever. You got the promiscuous girl, the druggy guy. It's just very classic. Like I was trying to think of movies in the 90s that they weren't the same, but just had like that same feel to it. And so like Dazed and Confused, which we've watched, which obviously had a couple of these people in. I didn't even know Renee Zellweger was in Dazed and Confused, actually. She's uncredited, but she's in there. And obviously Rory Crocken's in there. Um,
Until you were going through that, Matt, you know what they didn't have?
huh.
A person of color. I never realized that
Well,
before. I was like,
we
mean,
found
that
out we
they
found out
don't
from
have the black
someone
best friend, or
we found
whatever.
out from someone it didn't test well with Hispanic
Right.
audiences.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
That's weird.
also that's also part of it. What makes it very 90s as well, the
there you
lack
go.
of
There you go.
diversity as well.
Not even a token. Um, But so my wife was like, "Oh, what movie are you watching? Empire Records." "Oh, I think I remember that one. Who's in it?" So my first thing I said, because I'm an idiot, I go, "Oh, Jack Black." Oh wait, no, that's High Fidelity. And then I said, Joey Lauren Adams. I'm like, "Oh, no, wait, that's not it either. It's Renee Zellweger," which I could have sworn Joey Lauren Adams was in this movie. Just because she was in so many of these types of movies in this era. Um, but yeah, I mean it is what it is, unfortunately, is all I have to say about it. You guys kind of covered a lot. It's not the worst movie that came out of the 90s by a long shot, but which I know is a low bar, but
That is such a big standard, and I love it. I'm here for it. Not the worst to come out of the 90s.
yeah, and for a lot of people, I think when you do the music thing, when you bring that popular music in, and you do a good soundtrack, and you give them characters that, even if they're completely poorly written and over the top, like they can relate to in some way, like, oh yeah, I'm a sensitive guy who loves a girl, or oh yeah, my mom hates me, so I'm gonna, like you get kind of that weird cult following um of just people who appreciate that material. Um, yeah, and it ended like every 90s movie ended with the big party at the end and everything's okay, even though it's not. Like the guy sells a store for 9 grand. Sure, that would totally happen. But like like I said, I was just trying to think, Varsity Blues, Empire Records, PCU, Dazed and Confused. Like it's all the same movie over and over again in different either time periods or structures. And I'm gonna be completely honest, guilty pleasure of mine. I love all those movies. Dazed and Confused, I think I picked it for this group. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. This movie, I would watch it again because it's dumb and it's got that same feel to it. I like the music. Um, the uh the song by shoot, I'm gonna mess up. There's a couple Gin Blossom songs in here, but I'm trying to remember the other one. I'll think of it later. It doesn't matter. But um, yeah, it just has a couple memories for me in that regard. So it's not a great movie. I can totally see where they cut stuff. Like even some of the characters. I think it was who's the pizza guy? Anyone remember his name? Eddie, maybe.
Eddie.
Why? Like there was absolutely no reason for him to be in the movie other
Well, but
than
that's where, if the studio wouldn't have interfered as much and would have kept a lot more of the marijuana use in this, I think Eddie would have been
Oh,
a more
Uh,
prominent
because he
character.
brought the brownies, right? He brought him
Yeah.
the brownies. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Um, but yeah, just it's a guilty pleasure thing. It's not good. You're not it definitely I doubt it won any awards. Um, it's just a stupid thing to have on in the background if you want it to be. So um yeah, so you guys kind of covered all the bad stuff. So I wanted to give it a little bit of love because at the time it was that's I know it didn't do well at the box office, but it kind of like PCU is another example of a movie that did not do well at the box office, but kind of got a DVD following afterwards. So, and like I said, the soundtrack was good, and now it's gonna bother me if I don't look up that soundtrack. So,
but hear it from you or what? I know the song. It's
yeah, that
not.
was Jin.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. Hey, jealousy. It's the other one.
I'm gonna do list of songs in Empire Records.
Always looking it up. You guys had
Pl-
me, this mind-blowing thing that characters were cut and all that. So Toby Maguire was in it,
What?
was supposed to be in
He
it.
was supposed to be in it. Yep.
Um, and from what I read, it was like he may or may not have done a bunch of mushrooms, ended up in the director's basement, and talked about how he was having like a conflict of consciousness and just wanted to go back to Hollywood. So they cut the scenes that they already shot, and he left. He dropped out. So, but
This wasn't
he
a
was supposed to play
Weinstein movie,
Andrew.
was it?
Say it again, Matt.
I just said this wasn't a Weinstein movie, was it? Directors.
He also after this, he also went to drug rehab after this as well. So he was going through some stuff.
The song I was thinking of, by the way, is "Plowed" by Sponge. I don't know if anybody. I don't think it actually ended up on the official soundtrack, but it's definitely in the movie.
Right.
And that was a listening to Q101, trying to hit the record button on the tape, trying to catch
There's
it.
a song I can't think. It's I'm definitely not gonna sing it or attempt right here, but I'm gonna have to look it up. But there's one "Say a Prayer for Me" is one of the lyrics in
Yeah.
there. Is
That's
that
plowed.
Plowed.
That's
That's
it.
plowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All
I didn't
right.
realize Dishwalla
Sing
was
it,
on here
Melo.
too.
Come on, sing it.
Nope.
Hum the guitar riff.
How about
Nope.
You know you
the
want to. You can hear it.
Nope. Oh,
how about
it's already happening.
how about the random Guar appearance?
Right.
Seriously.
That was
Okay.
pretty cool.
Now, before we watched it tonight, like I watched it on Netflix, and somehow I got Netflix back. I don't know how, but I just tried to. It was like it's on Netflix, so I hit play and it played it for me. So, I had been shut out of it last week. Um, it wasn't pixelated, but it was like tripled. So it was like in the Guar scenes, the lead singer has a giant phallus,
Yeah.
and they like tripled it, like not in like, but like cut it so it was like almost blurred, kind of pixelized. Was it always like that? I don't remember there being like that weird blur spot in the movie, but I also don't remember a huge dong sticking out in the movie either.
I didn't notice it this time. I don't know.
And you can see when that creature, that sandworm, is eating Mark, that it's definitely bouncing, as that lead singer's like,
Yeah. You got from phallus to dong pretty quick. You didn't even like stop anywhere in between.
I didn't call it as wanky.
All right. So yeah, real quick. I had like 5 notes. I went into this. I haven't seen it in at least 20 years. I went in very optimistic and just nostalgic feeling, and especially watching it with my daughter, I was like, all right, this is gonna be fun, 90s, like good stuff. And I just wrote feels so dated. I put so studio. There was definitely a lot of scenes that you could tell were clearly in a studio. 90s was so overly self-aware, I guess, kind of goes with I think what resonates or what holds true to a lot of this, whatever era, for most of us it was the 90s. But people like this, like, at that age, at that time, we're all figuring out who the hell we are, and you gravitate toward a thing or another. Breakfast Club is very much that. Obviously there's a million of them, and I think that part of it just helps it hang on or translate time. The one thing that really did mess me up a lot, I totally forgot about the gun thing. Like that, I was like, holy shit, this is really fucked up. And that was before Columbine and blanks or whatever. It was, I just put bananas. And then the fact that, like, the whole point of what he was trying to do was he wanted to weigh in. He wanted to be a part of this group, was his real motivation there. And for a moment you're like, I don't know. And I'm sitting there with my daughter. I'm like, no, Like, just no.
Yeah.
But then the other guy, AJ, I believe, makes him a name tag. Like, we accept misfits here, and I get that, and I like that. But the way that went about was above and beyond for me. I also wrote, the last thing I wrote was Rex Manning lady, also bananas. Why was she not still with him and hanging out, or what? Like, all of a sudden she just comes back and is like, "Hey, Joe, what are you doing later?" I don't, like, plot wise,
And I
anything.
didn't get
Well,
from
she
this time
quit.
like she wasn't like his girlfriend. She was like his assistant.
No,
But
right.
and I didn't know, did she work for Rex or did she work for the store? Like was she sent by the store to go pick him up and bring him there?
Oh,
I think
Or
she
was
was
she
working
always
for.
with Rex?
I thought she was working for Rex.
So did I for a long time, but this time I wasn't quite clear. I
But she
guess I
clearly
paid
had
attention.
a communication link with Joe. So through working with Rex, she somehow like was working with Joe because she knew him personally before she got there. And I think just seeing the outstanding dynamic of the personalities in the store realized that this is a better way of life than
Uh,
walking around with this tool.
I never thought about it that she could have been working for the store until what movie was it where we watched where the assistant was the sister and they were trying with Burt Reynolds,
oh,
Last here,
Last
last
or
movie
movie.
last
star?
last
and
movie star.
so then I was kind of seeing her as like the sister character that she was sent out,
Hmm.
from the store because that's where the thing was that he was coming to, it wasn't a movie, film festival. It was Rex Manning signing. So I
Yeah.
had never
Okay.
thought about
I
it that
didn't
way.
think of that. I thought she was his assistant, and then didn't quite put that together. But yeah.
I thought she worked for the recording label in the
Okay.
label
Oh
center
yeah, that makes sense.
to go along with them.
I put play vibe, which Tim kind of alluded to earlier, where the whole day in the life of, or one location basically. Um,
They were looking to turn this into a Broadway play, but I don't see how you can do that unless you expand stuff, and I don't know.
Depending on how much else was with the cutout characters and all that, I didn't know about any of that, but maybe there's something there. Suburbia was another thing around this time, less well known, but definitely fits with that. There were so many things that were just like, to pack into one day. The funeral is
It was
nuts.
yeah.
The concert at the end, especially if it was Rex Manning Day, which I don't know. I thought of Rick Astley. I don't know if that was who he's supposed to be, but and
See,
just the whole Warren stuff.
with the
Was
TV
that
show, I was
anything?
thinking more of oh, what's his name? That was like on the Partridge Family and then became not Danny Bonaducci, but the wasn't
The
there
main the main guy. Um,
yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Like the women loved
yeah,
him.
Cassidy,
And
yeah,
David Cassidy.
yeah,
yeah,
David
yeah, yeah.
Cassidy. I saw it more of like a David Cassidy because they kept talking about his TV show and stuff. So
Mm.
I
Or
always
even
thought that's what it was based on.
who was the Osmond,
Yeah,
Donny
Oh,
Osmond.
Donny
Johnny
Osmond.
Osmond.
Yeah. Um, so the coming of age thing, I definitely get, but they were like 23. Like, it was, you know what I mean? Like, they're of age already.
Well, one of them's
I don't know.
gonna go to Harvard, and the other one's thinking about going to art school. I got more of a
Or,
18, 17-year-old vibe.
yeah, or bullshit on the age. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, she's not a virgin. Okay. Yeah, but that's what I got. Oh, yeah. So, like, the reason I originally asked the question, it's not that complex at all. I'm sure in '95 I definitely identified more with AJ, and then now kind of very much with what Hilty was talking about, Anthony LaPaglia for sure. Um, but I think that also fits with me more too, where I want to help. I want to, sometimes the tough love thing is what's needed, and I don't do as much of. I want everybody to win, and I think he was kind of that way. So anyway,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, and you
good
kind
stuff.
of, Melo, you just brought, well, before I had to run away, um, the ages I never realized were kind of all over the place because Liv Tyler was, I'm assuming, in high school, just graduating, 17, 18. AJ was on his own because he talked about his rent, you
Oh, yeah.
know. So I'm thinking, which makes sense because at a store, there's going to be, people of all ages, But and I guess it's a way to get around kind of like pigeonholing them all into the same age and making it a high school. Um, but I'd never thought of, uh, Liv Tyler and Renee Zellweger could be several years apart and just friendly because they work together. They don't necessarily go to school together. Um, and then the whole Rex Manning thing when she's clearly in high school and he, just unzips his pants and okay, come get it, and then bangs Renee. So it's it actually made things a little better thinking that maybe Renee Zellweger is a few years older than Liv Tyler, but he's obviously in his 40s, I'm assuming, and she is in her 20s, so it's still
Well,
not the best.
the whole extra like dramatic thing too. Is her name Beth? Is that
Beth's the one that shaves her head.
yeah, right. Okay. I don't know why Beth didn't stick
I
in my head,
thought her
but
name was
the fact
Deb.
that she chooses to
Debbie,
do that
Deb.
at work,
Is it Deb? I'm
like,
sorry.
you know, very
It is Deb.
Deb,
Well,
yes.
and there's obviously a relationship between her and Coyote Shivers that doesn't get fleshed out at
Who
all.
pops up
Right.
out of nowhere
Who
halfway
like
through the movie.
seeing him, it's like he didn't show up last night at probably her place because she has her own apartment, and that is what sent her into the tailspin, or whatever, and they just never talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just 90s Adam Driver halfway through the movie. Oh, all right. Here's the
Well,
thing.
it's almost like it'd be nice if we knew what was cut out of this movie to make this movie because some of those things you guys are talking about, I think had to have been shot and then just badly edited out.
Well, Hilty's saying like a TV show. Yeah, I think it would have
Mhm.
been great.
Yeah.
I don't think each person's problems would be a season, but it could be a
Yeah.
short run of
Yeah, you could
interesting.
flesh it out over a season as to everything in one day. It's just a
Right.
lot. But all of that said, I kind of talked about this earlier. Like I think it can be both. I objectively do not think this is a good movie, but I enjoy a lot of this movie.
Hmm. All right. I have a couple of thoughts as we've been going here. One of the things I looked up in the first place, somebody brought up the guy who played Lucas saying, "I don't want to be another teen movie. I'll just take this ridiculous amount of money." The budget for this movie was $10 million. The box office was barely over 300,000.
Oh,
What were
So,
DVD
No,
sales though?
well,
and then it becomes a cult classic, right? And so, well, go ahead,
oh,
Hilty.
so regarding that though, it was said though that since this did not test well, the studio also did this movie no favors by didn't do a premiere, didn't advertise it,
Oh,
no
okay.
previews, anything like that. So when the internet is not a thing and you just release a movie that has no previous or no previews,
No
no
marketing.
anticipation, no
Yeah.
marketing, yeah, this it's going to make not a lot of money. Plus also the reviews for this were brutal. This was not a very well received. It's still not a very well received movie on Rotten Tomatoes. It's only got like I think Aaron said 36%. And you read what some of the people wrote, and a lot of people called it contrived. A lot of people called it like they said Renee Zellweger is the standout, and it's very cliche and it's very melodramatic. It's like, well, yeah, can't
Like that's
argue.
any of those things are a bad thing.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. This is a really interesting thing in the trivia of this movie. Liv Tyler's mother, who is like the famous, it's almost like Almost Famous was written about her. She hopped from band to band. I can never pronounce her name. Babe or Baby, well, whatever her name is. Um, During the filming of this movie, she was married to the dude playing Coyote Shivers.
What?
And so technically, that dude Coyote Shivers, who's the
Was
guitar
her
player,
stepdad.
is Liv Tyler's
Ugh.
stepfather during the filming of this movie. Enjoy that. April 8th, we brought up April 8th. It was brought up afterwards that they picked that day because that's the day they found Kurt Cobain had passed away.
Fuck.
And so they made Rex Manning April 8th to kind of coincide with that. Um, and then the last thought I had here was just what is it like for the career of an actor, an actress, a director to be involved in a cult classic type movie? Like what does it do to your career? Do you become, sort of somebody said pigeonholed earlier, like as an actor or actress because you were in this, do people think like this is all you can do and are you trying to get away from it with your choices in the future? Or are you proud of it and you embrace it? Like, what does it do to somebody's career to be part of something like this? Just a, I don't know if there's an answer to that, but it's just something that I wonder.
I guess if you're lucky, you end up at several, Midwest Comic Cons signing stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if it's your only thing, I mean, because Liv Tyler, obviously, many
She
other
did okay.
things.
She did okay.
Yeah, Renee Zellweger, like we talked about.
And when
But
this came
for
out,
those,
was the guy from Grease 2? Was he the biggest star at the time? Like, would he like
No.
who would they have even said like come see Joe? I mean, Joe's an actor who had done a few things before, but I mean, he wasn't a big star.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just I
that's
know
Well,
that
good.
you're
in
Like,
talking
my
about like
house with my sister, Grease 2 was very popular, so I knew exactly who he was. Um, but
yeah, you're talking about marketing the movie. Like, who are you trying to sell
right,
is
like,
in this movie?
even if
Yeah.
you were gonna say come see this movie, it's got,
Hmm.
you know,
Is
nobody was a star at the time.
yeah, LaPaglia is probably the biggest
Zellweger
guy.
maybe?
Maybe. I don't
In
think so.
95?
Before Jerry Maguire, I don't think so.
Okay. The
But
dude that played
yeah,
Lucas had been in, what was he in?
Dazed and
Dazed and
Confused. And
Confused.
and
And
I
maybe
remember
he
I
did the
remember
biggest
specifically being like, I can't believe that's the same guy.
because
Yeah.
the short hair and the
Oh
turtleneck.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But then I also liked him in the original CSI.
I
He
was gonna
was,
say there was some TV show. I didn't know what it
yeah.
was. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
watch it, but I know he was on. Okay.
I mean, Renee Zellweger was in Reality Bites for a second and uncredited and Dazed and Confused. I would think she would have been, of the kids, she probably would have been the one.
Okay. Yeah. So,
And Deb Robin Tooney, she was in The Mentalist.
yeah, later on. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. She was
Excellent
in the
TV show.
craft. She was in the
The
craft
Craft, yeah.
shortly after
Yeah,
this
that's
one too.
Yeah.
Also hot in that. Yeah.
good movie.
Wig and
All right.
all.
Well, I'm gonna stick to it. I root for these characters at the end of this movie, and then so it saves it for me. The beginning is rough, and goofy, but it lands on its feet for me. So here we go. Um, we don't know who picked this movie, and so let's take some guesses and then find out who actually picked this movie. And I'll go in the order that this thing went. So Melo, you talked about this. Who do you think picked Empire Records?
I think you, if I
Okay.
had to go with.
Okay, and then you, man, I can't remember the order this went at all. Let's go to Dan because Dan's kind of watching the camera.
I think you're right.
Dan, who do you think
Right.
picked?
Ryan.
Brian went first. Yeah.
Who do you think picked Empire Records?
I think Brian's trying to throw all of us off by saying it was bad, so I'm going with Brian.
Okay, Brian, who do you think picked Empire Records?
Aaron.
Aaron. Aaron,
No
I think you went
explanation.
next, or maybe I went next. Aaron, who do you think picked Empire Records?
Can I ask who picked last week? Or whose movie was it last week? I don't remember.
It was Matt's movie last
It was
week.
actually all right. So I was gonna say you, Tim,
Mhm.
but I'm going to say Dan because of all the AJ stuff and knowing that the character's name was AJ.
He does
Liv
know a lot
Tyler
of stuff. He
loves
does know.
AJ.
That's pretty good. I'm also gonna say Aaron. I think Aaron picked this movie. Hilty, who do you think picked Empire Records?
I feel like I have to stick with you now after I talked all this shit about this over the last week. So naturally I'm gonna go with Brian instead.
Okay. I love how you approach this game, Hilty. And Matt Smith, who do you think picked Empire Records?
Well, back when I thought Joey Lauren Adams was in it, I was going to say Brian. But then when I figured out it wasn't, I had to change my vote. So I'll go. This seems like a Hilty pick. He's trying to throw us off. I think it's Hilty pick. I think he's trying to throw us off.
I like it.
All right, guys. Raise your hand if you're in the room. Who picked Empire Records? It was Aaron.
Oh.
My two roommates picked me. They knew.
Well, inside information there. I don't remember anything about you talking about this movie when we were roommates, but fun pick.
I had the soundtrack, and I don't know if we drove around together, but it was in the car.
Well, I don't remember that. I do like this soundtrack though. The soundtrack is pretty good.
I
Okay,
almost
guys.
picked this movie when we were doing soundtracks as a round.
It's
Instead,
good.
I went with Angus.
Another banger, top to bottom.
All right. So the movie that we will be watching this week is we're gonna go in the horror genre. We're gonna take quite a different approach here. This is from 2018. We will be watching A Quiet Place. This week's movie is A Quiet Place. I wanted to see this. I have not seen it. Or I did see it, and I wanted you guys to watch it, one or the other.
Your misdirection is fooling no one.
Can I make my vote now?
Yeah.
It's not Tim. It's not Tim.
It's definitely not.
Yeah. So
I never
A
heard
Quiet
of it.
Place. Dan never heard of it, and then
It's
he
a good
can't look at us in
movie.
the eye.
Dan's movie.
He can't look at us in the eye. He just got up and ran away.
Tim, who would be hosting next week?
Yeah, I mean, you guys want to know now, or do you want to find out right beforehand? Because that seems to go pretty well.
Okay, either way, I thought like you had the list. I thought it was
Sorry.
going to be the same order we always go in as far
It
as
is.
hosting.
It is. It's Melo's fault for not knowing that. Dan will be hosting next week. The look on Melo's face suggests he does not care for that comment. Dan, you are hosting next week for your pick. Clearly, A Quiet Place. All right, that'll do it for this week of the BTB Movie Club. We'll see you guys next week.
That'll do it for this episode of the BTB Movie Club podcast. Thank you as always for listening. We know we enjoyed ourselves. We hope you did too. Have yourself a great week. We are partnered with the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.